So does everyone know the experience of carrying a long stick or maybe a surfboard or even a pair of scissors or something in your hand, and you tend to bash things with it and knock things with the extra thing you're carrying? Everyone know that? That's what it's like when you start expanding your awareness. It goes from this contracted little thought form into maybe your body, then it goes even wider, and it's clumsy for a while. You bang into things and you make dumb mistakes that you don't normally make because you're carrying something new and wider. Much like a stick or a surfboard. When you first, I watch people pick up a surfboard, it's bang, bang, crash. It's like, no, I'll carry my boards, It's like this. You're carrying something wider and you're used to a certain extension. So your habits to be to shrink back. Right? Because you're banging, it's clumsy, it's weird, it's unusual. Or the other way is you become aware. You put more awareness. I'm wider now. I need to be more aware and wider in my awareness, and allow that wider space to be what is, and not come back to a smaller space. And how do you do that? Well, you keep all your awareness on your inner, and you reduce the outside just to what you need to get done, what you need to get done, and you put all your attention on your inner, the center of your heart, your breath. Center of your heart's better. Just remain there. And your physical heart's here, your spiritual heart's more here. It's in the center, almost the center of your chest. Just call it the center of your chest for simplicity. And keeping your awareness on your innards as you're opening. And remain there. Now, this isn't for everybody. Other people need to be putting their awareness on what's triggering them, what's making them unhappy, what's creating all that, why am I thinking so much? This is when you're going deeper, I'm talking about here. And if you want to jump to that now, you can do it. But if you're going to, but you're probably not going to be able to maintain it. It's probably not going to make sense, and you're just going to imagine and be distracted anyway. So just be real with what's going on for you. But having your one eye on the center of your heart, or God, which is the same thing, beingness, the center of your heart is the doorway to what you are. So if you keep your attention, all of your attention on the doorway, that will get wider and wider and wider and wider until there's no separation between not that and that. And you are that. The not that is illusion. There's no other way to say it. In the awakening ruthlessness and the impeccability, you see all of the social structures are illusion, all of the rules are illusion, all of the laws are illusion, all of the fabric of social structures is illusion, the monetary system's illusion, everything. But they are, and a lot of them are just devices to keep things functioning and to stave off chaos, to hold chaos at bay. And we constantly maintain these structures to hold chaos at bay. And awakening is allowing whatever is, including any chaos. It's not about order, constant holding of order together. It's everything is as it is. But we're trained to hold order and comfort, safety and security. And a lot of the rules and the machinations been put in place is because within humans there's a lot of shadows and a lot of darkness, and the separation creates a lot of problems. So we have to have lots of laws and rules to manage that. And some laws and rules are just guidelines because you may be uneducated or young in life and you just don't know the simplicity of how to navigate it. So there's laws, rules, guidelines for that to help people to not cause too much harm. And a lot of them are just simply oppression and mind control. But when you're truly in your heart and truly see who you are and you can see clearly, you don't need any of this. You don't need any of it. You don't need any of it. You don't need anything. Because everything's actually within you, and that becomes obvious. Weird at first, very strange, very weird. And the mind doesn't want to agree with it, but your experience is that everything's within you, you're everything. So you have to let that settle in, that truth settle in, and you stay centered in your heart for that. And burn anything that wants to try and disagree with it from the mind. And the mantra I used was no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. This is my direct experience. No doubt, no doubt. Because the mind and the world around me was telling me otherwise. No, no, you don't deserve this. This is not it. You're not good enough. This can't be it. You're delusional. I was just staying in there. And if my teacher said I was delusional, okay, I'm going to try and hear that. Everything else I blocked out. Because delusional people telling me delusional wasn't working. Because they don't know. People don't know, but they always think they know. They've always got a script for you. They've always got a prescription for you from their level of understanding. But they don't even know where the script came from and who wrote it. So you cut out all the chatter. You cut out all this, the confetti. And the true guru or the true teacher is your deep heart center. But first, there has to be enough confetti and rubbish out of the way for that to be seen and understood. Which is the problem with the you need no teacher, you are the teacher, you are the guru. It's all false. The problem with those statements and those things that seem to attract a huge following for those non-teachers, paradoxically, is that they're not acknowledging that a lot of stuff has to get out of the way for people to see what they are within themselves. I think the evidence is in front of us when we're here, is it not? How much stuff's in the way that we don't know is in the way. We know something's wrong, but we don't know what. That's not going away just by you saying, I am my own teacher. It's too sneaky. Because the mechanism trying to fix it is the mechanism causing the problem, and it doesn't want to be fixed. It wants to survive. If that survival means the host's life is a tragic mess, then that's the price. That's okay. It's ruthlessly cruel. The price of my life is the suffering of the host, and that's fine by me. It's very, very dark like that. It has no compassion. It's ruthless. If you're not going to be ruthless to meet it, you're screwed. Or better soft ruthless, not harshness. Just what's true, what's not true, discernment. Surrendered ruthlessness. Does that make sense or not? It doesn't have to. Maybe some of it makes sense. No, your ego, which appears in thought forms, has no actual concern for your well-being at all. Its concern is survival. And whatever needs to happen for that to happen is what's going to happen. If that means you're getting too smart for it and you're starting to outclass it, and you start becoming spiritual and you start developing spiritual, that's fine. It's a spiritual ego now. It's still here. That's good enough for me. As long as I'm still here. That'll do. I'll just, a gentle retreat. Later she'll grow out of spirituality and I'll get her when she's old. He's old. I'm just putting a voice on it, yeah? Like a commentary on it. This is a commentary. Overview commentary. The ego's not doing that. It's just innately happening. And it'll have all its traps waiting in hiding for its opportunity to spring them. Where we have to, if we remain all of our heart into our heart center on our simplest of simple, it's going to have a very hard time beating us. Surrender is the cure. Let go is the cure. Awareness on awareness is the cure. And you don't deviate from it. Unless it's to come out to see how's this rope put together. Okay, that's happening. This is happening in this circumstance. Okay, I'm going to untangle that and reduce the onslaught. Using the mind wisely against the dysfunctional. Ruthlessly. On the point of reason. Even the reasonable mind is ultimately false too, but it's the point you need to get to for the next step, which is actually this way. There's other ways too. The teacher can just confuse the hell out of you, say one thing one day, another thing the next day, and just constantly confuse you till the mind just gives up in confusion, realizing there is no plateau to rest on, that everything's a contradiction. This can happen too, but this other methodology seems to be more accurate, better. Humans are already, Westerners are already messed up enough. So we've headed more towards reason, so let's use that trained platform as the launch pad. Let's use our neuroticism and just reduce our neuroticism to see clearly, to launch into the infinite. So I just had a conversation with a family member and it was just jumping from one conclusive statement causing worry to another, unchecked. Oh, I worry every year this is going to happen with this next door and the fires. Well, no, it won't happen because the trees are too tall and the fire will go under it, and if they do burn, they'll be too high. She goes, oh, really? I've been worrying about this every year for years. And a simple little bit of investigation how fires work, that worry didn't need to be there. And just constantly looping through. This is what I'm saying. There's no reason. People just want to, the ego just wants you to worry and struggle, and it doesn't want to check what's true and what's not. And if you've got a few hundred of these, that's your life. Just looping through different problems that aren't even problems. They don't exist. It's not true. And everybody suffering is doing that in some way, unchecked. Belief systems, believed. And this is what Ramana Maharshi said about Westerners who sat around in a loincloth his whole life hardly moving. He said Westerners are lazy. Which I think is hilarious. Because that's so true. They'll go through their whole lives with unchecked beliefs, suffering the whole time and driving forth into the world based on false beliefs, and then die. They're too lazy to stop and look around and see if it's true or not, and if they need to be doing it. Where this person in the loincloth that sat around the whole time was completely investigation and understanding everything about himself and found he didn't need to move. Found it was all ego. Because he wasn't lazy, he chose to look. Or spirit chose to look. Awareness was aware enough to see this. So are you lazy? Probably less lazy than most people because you're here. But have a look around. It's chaotic laziness and ignorance. People trying to fill their mind with good stories to share with the next person to keep each other interactive and popular. It's like blah 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 blah. Oh, this is going good. This is going great. Okay. What am I going to say next? Let's keep this moving. Maybe I can do an Instagram post on this. Yeah, this is good. Okay. And out we go. And some of this is for financial resources. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But if we believe it and we go along with all the bullshit ride, that's the problem. We do need money. We need income. It's just simple as that. There's no way around it. As far as existing here. But let's even stretch that out. Okay, what if you stopped eating and stopped earning money and you died? What happens? So I made an absolute statement there that's not quite true, as in we do need money, there's no, but that was on the assumption you want to exist and live here as the body until it's time for you to pass. Right? Let's say you just completely stopped all that. Which Ramana Maharshi did, by the way. He just sat there and just sat in a corner, went and was teased and kicked, and he just sat down in a hole in the temple in Tiruvannamalai and just sat there going deep into consciousness. Just basically wasn't even in his body anymore, had gone and expanded into everything, and his body was rotting. Somebody picked him up and carried him home and fed him at some point. He was getting chewed on by rats. He had cuts all over him. So you can do it. I mean, and this is someone who's very deep, by the way. But what happened if he had died? What happens? The same thing that happened to the person that died 10,000 years ago. Nothing. Nothing happens. Because it's all the one thing dancing. And whether this flame appears in the fire or not doesn't matter. Whether it goes up and comes down, it doesn't matter. And you don't watch a fire and go, why isn't there a flame? Oh, that flame's gone. That little flutter's gone. Oh my goodness. No, but it's like this. So even the idea we need money for something, even that's ultimately not true. We only need it as a physical being here. It doesn't matter. If you and all of your relatives and everyone you died at exactly the same moment, there's zero sorrow or pain or suffering here on the earth. That's all created from within as well. Just if all of humanity just imploded at once, there's no suffering whatsoever. Nothing happened. There's nobody to grieve or worry or anything. It's gone. Nothing. It's all from mind. Does it make sense? It's all created from the mind. So it's only a problem with mind. No mind, no problem. So why don't we enter the state of no mind and see if this is true or not? You can check for yourself. See what happens. Go deeper and deeper and into no mind. See what happens. Maybe you'll see this is ultimately illusionary. All these things you're so sure exist and are real and solid and important. And what sort of freedom would that allow if you disproved that all is important and critical and required? What would that mean? I can tell you, it's freedom. That's the experience, it's freedom. And then you can be more playful. Because there's nothing holding back playfulness anymore. Not that you have to be or need to be, you can just do nothing and sit, be quiet. But it's natural. Freedom allows play, like a little child just wants to play. And that playfulness might be purely interior and just nothing on the outside, just simplicity. That inside's just, the universe is inside. It's everything, and it could just be observation of that. It could be absolutely nothing, no knowledge of anything. No noticing of the time moving. Timelessness. And that'll all just happen as it happens. No one controlling it, no one steering it. Nothing to hold on to, nothing grip to, this is no, I need that, no, just nothing. Nothing and everything. So probably a better word than nothingness is spaciousness, yes. And your contractions and your tensions and your holdings are the opposite of spaciousness. And your forcefulness, your desires, your aversions, these are tensions, they are not spaciousness. Because that is the unfettered spaciousness. And it's seeing through this vehicle here, or it's not. But it's seeing through every vehicle, whether you realize it or not. The birds, the bees, the earthworm, the experience of the plants, everything. It's seeing through it all. It is it. and you believe you're a separate entity here having an experience, or you understand that you're that itself experiencing itself. Spaciousness experiencing self. None of these words are going to land correctly. They're just pointers. See beyond them. Hear beyond them. The gap in the words is more accurate than the words. Silent knowing, as the Toltecs would call it. Silent stillness. Oneness, unity, whatever the labels are, they don't matter. You have to throw these out also. These are all of language created by man, created by mind. What's before all this? What's beyond all this? Nisargadatta will say, who were you 100 years before your birth? Who will you be 100 years after it? What will you be? That you are. Eternal now. Awareness. And the seeing, you may think awareness, what I'm seeing. No. What's aware of the seeing? What's aware of that awareness? That doesn't require eyes or ears or nose or taste. What is aware of that? What is aware of that? Check. Check. Don't believe. Look. See yourself. Nothing stopping you. What's aware of seeing?